Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Brie to like musical theater. And you guys, I got this spell book, and I'm going to conjure up these roses and create us a guest. Are you ready to say the magic words, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm going to say the words?
Yeah, you got to say the magic words. You're the witch in the group.
Is there a reason I have to say it? Is it because it's from my pocket or something?
Yes. You have to say it because you have it's yours.
Okay, let's see.
The roses.
Treguna, Mekoides, Tracorum, Satis D.
And it's PushingUpRoses, the amazing video creator!
Here I am, the darkness, that is me. Hi.
This is so lovely to have you conjured up by literal witchcraft. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm so into it. I'm a bit of a witchy woman myself, so I'm pretty into being conjured.
I'm surprised the spell worked with Jess being the one giving it to me.
You had to say it. I was the David Tomlinson of the group, while you were very much the Miss Price.
Okay.
And that would make Brie the lead girl.
I'm trying to think of another role for her, but all I can think about is that fucking mangy cat. What was his? Why can't I remember the cat's name? I just watched this.
We could give it to the shopkeeper that was trying to help the priest get Miss Price out of her house in the deleted scenes.
There's so many weird characters in this movie.
And the cat was named like some wacky cats thing.
Oh wait, it's coming to me. It's
Bojangles or something?
No, not Bojangles, like Cosmic Creepers. Cosmic Creepers.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I just fact-checked you, and yes, it is Cosmic Creepers.
Oh, yay.
And in case you haven't picked up on what we were throwing down, very subtly, in fact, this week we are talking about the Walt Disney classic Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Cue the music, Brie.
When you rush around in hopeless circles, searching everywhere for something true, you're at the age of not believing, when all the make-believe is through. When you set aside your childhood heroes and your dreams are lost upon a shelf, you're at the age of not believing, and worst of all, you doubt yourself.
So Bedknobs and Broomsticks was a film written and directed by Bill Walsh and Don DeGrady, based on The Magic Bedknob and Bonfires and Broomsticks by Mary Norton, which has the weirdest use of an ampersand and the word and I've ever seen in a novel in my life. The music and lyrics were by the Sherman Brothers. Bedknobs and Broomsticks had an original runtime of 141 minutes and was scheduled to premiere at the Radio City Music Hall. However, in order to accommodate for the theater's elaborate stage show, the film was trimmed down to just under 2 hours, in which 23 minutes were ultimately removed from the film. The removed scenes included many pieces that I'll go into later, but the movie was later reissued theatrically April 13th, 1979, with additional 20 minutes deleted from the film, so that stayed deleted until the 90s. The plot of Bedknobs and Broomsticks is: 3 children evacuated from London during World War II are forced to stay with an eccentric spinster. The children's initial fears disappear when they find out she is in fact a trainee witch.
Okay, wait. I like how it says their fears were diminished upon finding out she's a witch.
Yeah, that stopped their parents
Witches
from being
aren't
dead.
scary. Witches have never been scary. They're always goofballs.
I don't know. I came back from Salem a few weeks ago, and they were pretty scary. They burned some people for that.
Yeah, well, who was scary, the witches or the people that burned the witches?
I think the witches, because what's the point of burning them?
Good lord.
Jeez, Jess is on the side of the people burning the witches.
I mean,
my God, I didn't expect this.
I'm saying the witches were probably scarier.
Wait, what about the witch in Snow White? She was pretty effed up.
That's a queen.
Well,
that's royalty.
She's scary because she's a queen. Yeah,
They're scary because of the monarchy.
That's true.
But
she was also a witch. I'm just putting that out there.
You're right.
What about the witch in The Witch? The Vivitch.
They are naked, and that's pretty scary. I swear to God.
A lot of witches are
naked.
naked.
Don't they eat a baby? They eat a baby. I'm pretty sure they eat the baby.
And they make out with a little boy.
Like the witches in
Yeah.
Suspiria, pretty scary, pretty messed up. But the witch in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, completely
Yes.
wholesome, completely wholesome.
Yes. Now, Roses, you've wanted to do this since the beginning, and we kind of pushed you into other things, but I'm so glad that we're finally talking about this. What's your history with Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
So I first discovered it on a Disney sing-along tape. And I hope you guys know what that is, at least even just one of you, because whenever I
do.
talk about it with my friends, nobody knows what I'm talking about. I'm like,
What?
I don't know why. I just,
Are you friends with a bunch of Zoomers?
no, that's why I'm like confused. I'm like, we're of the same generation. What were you watching?
Well, did you just get the real VHSs for the movies because your parents could afford the real ones instead of the cheaper Disney sing-alongs? Yeah, I know, Mom and Dad. You bought me the $9.99 ones instead of paying $30 for the VHS. I get you.
I remember the intro with all the birds and the owls
Yes.
teaching the class.
Disney
Yeah.
sing-along.
Oh yeah, I'm glad people know what I'm talking about. I just grew up in a very music-loving family. I would not say they were musically inclined. Nobody could play an instrument, but we loved music. So I grew up on We Sing, Disney Sing Along,
Sing.
Roger Hammerstein, all kinds of musical related things. So when I bring these up, people are like, what? I don't know what that is. But I first, my aunt would give me Disney Sing Along tapes for Christmas because she knew I liked them so much, just like music. And there was a song from Bedknobs and Broomsticks on it, and it was the fish song, the bobbing along song. Because of course there was. That's one of the funnest ones, you know, because
Yeah.
you've got the live action with the cartoon. It's very Mary Poppins, and I love that part. I thought that as a kid, I'm like, this is great. I don't know what's going on, but it's very magical. And so then my aunt bought me the movie. And I loved Angela Lansbury because even as a kid, I recognized her from Murder, She Wrote. My grandma's favorite show was Murder, She Wrote. So I'm like, oh my God, it's the Murder, She Wrote lady in like Child Rose's voice. So yeah, I would go over to my aunt's house. My grandma would watch Murder, She Wrote. And then I'd be like, let's watch Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Because it's as a kid, when you like figure something out like that, you feel like the smartest person just ever. Like when I noticed Julie Andrews was both Mary Poppins and also Maria, I was like, I'm the smartest kid ever. Those are the same people. I noticed it.
They didn't want you to know, but you found out anyways.
I mean, those different hair colors. I mean, can't trick me.
That's lovely. Andrew, did you have any history with Bedknobs and Broomsticks before this?
No,
Okay.
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Maybe I saw it on the Disney sing-along tape, but I don't even remember doing that. So
What about you, Bree? Anything like that?
No, none.
Okay.
That's very common, I find. I think that Bedknobs and Broomsticks has its very dedicated audience. But because Mary Poppins was so popular, I feel like Bedknobs and Broomsticks got kind of shoved to the side. So
Almost literally, if you think about
Yes.
the history of Disney. So
Yes.
this was actually starting to get made while Walt Disney was alive, before Mary Poppins. The Sherman Brothers were tapped to start writing songs for it before Mary Poppins was even like in production. As they recall, when doing their original pitch, like with a few songs, Walt Disney fell asleep and said, "Shelve this and work on Mary Poppins."
goodness.
this is boring.
So the song that they work on Mary Poppins, and that becomes what it is. Walt dies, and I don't know if any of you guys know about the wilderness years of Disney in between when Walt dies and Little Mermaid, or yeah. It was a mess in the company. No one really knew how to take direction because like they had only had one person giving them what they were doing. So instead of like really trying to redefine things the way that Walt did, they just tried to do what Walt did, literally. So they brought back down the Bedknobs and Broomsticks pitch from off the shelf. They were like, well, let's ask Julie Andrews to come back, Sherman Brothers come back, Sherman Brothers literally just took a bunch of cut songs from Mary Poppins, including the Briny Sea, which was written when they had, in Mary Poppins, they were originally going to have a magic compass that would take them wherever they wanted and would take them under the sea. Then Julie Andrews was really, really hesitant to turn, and she turned down the role of Mrs. Price. However, she reconsidered, saying that she owned her career to the Disney studio and wanted to keep the relationship good, but then they had already contracted Angela Lansbury to do the role.
And you can really tell. Obviously, the Sherman Brothers have a style and they have a format that they follow, but this is a little too on the nose. Some of these songs sound exactly like they were from Mary Poppins. There's a lot. You could probably sing either song to some of these melodies.
Yes, and especially, like, it didn't come clear to me that they're literally one-to-one analogs until I watched the 140-minute version. Where I'm like, oh.
I mean, it really has the same structure as Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Like, you have the animated section as well. Like, it felt like it. Felt like Mary Poppins 2 before Mary Poppins 2.
The only thing that it has different, which I think is the best part, is the end scene where it ends in a literal war between one witch and the Nazis.
It's literally like combining Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. You have music and Nazis again, you know?
It's very interesting, and a lot of it is just relying on the charm and charisma of Angela Lansbury, and thankfully that takes you a long way. That is something good to be able to lean back on.
And I think David Tomlinson too. I think they work extremely well together. Angela Lansbury is so talented, and I even like the charm of the children as well. They were a little more, I don't know, wayward than the kids in Mary Poppins. Because obviously in Mary Poppins, these kids are privileged and wealthy. And in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, you have kids kind of, they're coming from an orphanage. They don't have a real family. So I liked their, their kind of messy nature.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to give you all the history of things that are cut from this movie regularly and only in the 140-minute version. One of them being, do you know the background of what happened with these kids before they ended up with Angela Lansbury or Miss Price?
I was under the assumption they had a family and they were just getting sent out of London because of the bombing. It was the Narnia thing.
That was my assumption until there's originally when you in the traditional theatrical version they just cut to Angela Lansbury you'll eat whatever I eat, no fried food, and that's it. There's a small mini conversation before that and she's like, where happened to your parents? And they're like, we don't know who our parents are. And they're like, well, who took care of you? Our aunt. One day we hear the bombs going off again in the shelter and it landed right on our aunt.
Oh my god!
And then she just changes the subject to the dinner. Like, you'll eat what I eat.
Maybe a good thing to cut. I just assumed they grew up in an orphanage and they had trouble finding a family because they were kind of troublemakers, and that was my assumption. I didn't know they had a family or an aunt that got killed in a raid. That's a bomb
lands on their aunt, and then she decides, I'm gonna bring you back to London. Let's everyone get on the flying bed. We're going back to London.
It was a wild thing to just hear thrown out. Maybe that was the right choice. There's a lot of maybe that was the right choice in the cuts. But then we have very important things I wish they had kept in. Like David Tomlinson's opening number, which is called With a Flare. It's incredible. Currently in the film, he's just doing a bunch of tricks, and it's like we're getting cock teased for a song that never happens.
That's true. I did notice that, because if you think about something like Mary Poppins, when they introduced Bert, he is introduced with a song. He's even playing a song when he's introduced. David Tomlinson is just kind of, bombing, just flopping with an audience.
He's doing some cheesy magic tricks and he doesn't even do them well.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's kind of the point of the song, which is he knows he's a charlatan, and every time there's a break in the song, he does one of those tricks. They just cut all the parts that were little song breaks and put it together and called it a scene, which is why he's talking to a weird beat. Because he's talking to the beat of a song that's supposed to be playing.
Of all the songs to cut, why would you cut that?
But that's part of the reason why the Sherman Brothers, this was the last Disney film the Sherman Brothers worked on. They felt very disrespected that most of their work was cut from the film just to beat a runtime. And they did not work for the Disney company again until the Tigger movie in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So this was a big loss for the Disney company. As well, this is the last Disney-branded film to be nominated for an Academy Award until The Little Mermaid.
Disney just had a hard time after Walt's passing. We had a lot of strange animated movies come out, some of which I do like, but I could also see why they didn't have popularity at the time. And I feel like I didn't watch a lot of live action like Bedknobs and Broomsticks after that movie. I can't even recall in my head ones that I watched during that time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like The Love Bug, I feel like that was like their big flagship series in that period. Like The Love Bug and stuff like that, which really has not stood the test of time the way that even Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Like this has a brand new stage show in the UK that's doing fairly well. Like this has a cultural landmark to its name.
Right.
So what were we saying, Andrew?
That animated segment.
Yes.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Let's go.
Yeah.
It feels like, and maybe it isn't, but it feels like one of those recycled animation things that Disney did, where they just took animation from their old stuff and like traced over it. Like the lion character looks exactly like the lion character in like Robin Hood or something. But
you've got it
did
backwards.
This come first?
This came first.
Okay, I wasn't sure what the year was.
Now you're correct.
I'm certain that they, even for like Little Mermaid, they probably reused some of those fish animations and like the swimming animations. I could definitely see that being the case.
I really enjoyed the animated section here, without even a little bit. It's really stupid though. I loved every second of it.
I did too. I'm like, it's charming.
I feel like the sports part goes a little long.
That was the exact part where I'm like, this is stupid and I'm loving every second of it.
They just run over the guy like 5 or 6 times and it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. They're running him over. Okay.
But did you notice they're running him over? And in case it wasn't clear, they are running him over.
If it was more visceral, I think I could get behind it, but I couldn't feel the slapstick, because it didn't look like he was getting run over. It looked like he was getting, the animation was coming in and then he got cropped out of the scene and then he stood up.
My favorite part is when they hand wave away like their entire MacGuffin for the thing. Like, oh, it doesn't transfer back to our world. It was just in the book anyways.
We did that for nothing, I guess.
Just in the book. Which, if that was played for more of a laugh, I think I'd get it, but instead it was like a wholesome, like, nobody ever listens to the little kids.
I know I said this off mic, but the little kid made me laugh more than any like Disney film has ever made me laugh, when he just like has raw glass in his pocket for no reason and he pulls it out and shows everyone.
Is that what you got
looking glass
from Portobello Road? Just some broken glass? Is that what you took away? Okay.
I think that was before Portobello Road, because that's how
it was. It was the they were looking for something to put the travel spell on,
and they picked the bed knob that he just took.
For some reason, he had the bed knob in his pocket.
Jeez, I love that little kid though. I thought he was so cute, and yeah, I like the kids in this movie a lot. I think they had a lot of personality. I thought they were really cute and maybe a little more relatable to some people than like the privileged kids in Mary Poppins, I think. But yeah, like my biggest criticism, going back to what Andrew said, is that there are scenes that go on forever. Like, I don't understand why this is not cut. And like the one that goes on forever for me is Portobello Road. So I was shocked to hear that there was even more to that prior to being cut.
Yeah, it's like twice
It's already
as long.
too long, and they have some weird racial stuff in there, but it's the 70s, I guess. I don't know.
Can you describe the racial stuff for me, please?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay. It's just like they have stereotypes come out and do dance breaks to very, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like stereotype music, essentially.
Yeah.
Like you get the instrument and you're like, this is what their music sounds like, like that kind of thing. And they do the dance to it. And it's like, okay. And apparently I got the shorter version of it. So I guess it goes on for an additional 20 minutes
It's rough. It's a rough watch. Yeah, I did not enjoy the additional places and things. Although it was nice to see actual people of color show up in the movie a little bit. It was kind of nice, but that's me donning it with faint praise, to be honest.
Have you seen the movie Mrs. North with Angela Lansbury, honestly?
Ooh, no. Is that the one where...
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie with Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Claus. Mr. Claus is like sick or something, and he's not sick. She feels underappreciated. So she's out doing her own thing. She goes to New York, and they have a section with a song that is about kind of that Portobello Road place, this place in New York where all nationalities come together and it's diverse. And I think they actually do it right. And I think that's what Portobello Road was trying to do, was trying to bring all these people together and show diversity, except it's not doing it. Execution is bad. Theory, okay. Execution, not great. But Mrs. North actually does it really well, where everybody is kind of showing their culture and then also showing that we all belong here. We all belong here on this street in New York. So that the thought is nice, but it is cringe. Like when you see it is cringe.
You can't have diversity by showing a bunch of stereotypes. And being like, look it, they're all here. Everyone hold hands. All the stereotypes are holding hands. It's like maybe actually look into the cultures you're trying to represent a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree. And also the song, I just am good with David Tomlinson saying a few lines, doing a goofy thing or two, and then kind of ending it.
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury refers to this film as acting by numbers. She felt that shooting Bedknobs and Broomsticks was scheduled and regimented. Each shot was determined strictly, but what the storyboarders said that she had to do, right down to every expression the actors had on their faces. She did not enjoy being kind of manhandled in this way.
Oh, that's too bad. And Angela Lansbury is absolutely like that. She's spoken up about her time on Murder, She Wrote, which she appreciated greatly. But she's definitely not the type of actress to rough around. Yeah, she speaks up when crappy things happen. So I'm sad to hear that happen, because at that point, Angela Lansbury was kind of this classic actress. You know what I mean? She had been in quite a number of musicals and stage and film.
Hitchcock, she was pretty good. And it's sad because we're talking about her, and she's passed recently, and and it is kind of a bummer. And it was really sad to see her in this for the first time, really watching her material since she died. Yeah,
I was devastated. Obviously, I was devastated. My whole YouTube show is about Murder, She Wrote. So I woke up that day to condolences in my. That's how I woke up. I'm like, oh no. And I knew what it was right away. I'm like, oh, fuck. Because, she was almost 97 years old. Yeah. So, can't live forever. But yeah, I watched Bedknobs just last night, and I've watched it in the last year, but I watched it again just to refresh myself. And it is sad because she's such a force. She's so talented. Mm-hmm.
I agree, and anytime that she's on screen, this film really shines.
Yeah.
And her interactions with the kids. But I think the best part of this movie is her and David Tomlinson together. Eglantine, that song number, anytime. It's really, really good.
It is. And it's funny, too. I just love how this guy is meeting a literal witch. She can do spells. She's magical. And his first thought is not like, holy cow, oh my God, you can do magic. It's, how can we profit off of this? Why don't you be in my magic show? I'm like, that's your first thought?
As my assistant.
He had the right idea. If you ran a magic show with an actual witch, it'd be the best magic show ever put on.
Mm-hmm. Then she decides not to do that. Let's talk about some cut subplots and some of the cut songs before we move into some of the reviews for this film. So, I talked about how the priest didn't remember their parents and their aunt died. They also had an early scene explaining substitutionary locomotion, really early on, where
they did?
yes.
You know what? That would have been really helpful because I noticed in the movie, I'm like, they're not explaining this at all. She just really wants this spell, and they're not really saying what it is at all.
Yeah, it takes a while for you to figure out, it gets inanimate objects to move. But in that scene, David Tomlinson is very much dubbed. It's really it is kind of sad. And there's
why did she want that spell so bad anyways? Was it actually just to beat the Nazis like she did?
I bet she had different plans, but then that's just kind of how it ended, because she always said it's going to help the war effort.
She's a patriot, or whatever they call it over there.
There's the old lady character and the priest. They have beefed up roles where they're like antagonistic towards Miss Price and all that. And I'm not missing those scenes, not gonna lie. But the important things are the songs. So the first, if you watch the movie in its original, it takes a while for there to be a song that pop up. Like it feels, but when it starts, it doesn't stop. Originally, when she gets the broom and she's in her room, no rhyme intended there, she sings a song that is basically a spoonful of sugar. It's not a good song, but it was supposed to be a song and dance number between Angela Lansbury and her broom called "Step in the Right Direction," and it's an earworm.
After all, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction after all. After all, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction after all.
I listened to it. I do know that song, and it's not a good song. It's very repetitive.
Yes.
It's not great lyrics either, to be honest. And yeah, it sounds like Spoonful of Sugar. That being said, I do think there should have been a song there. Because like you said, it does take a while to hear any kind of song. And usually with musicals, you do have an introductory something. I mean, even look at the Disney animateds; they're all started with an introductory song. And Bedknobs and Broomsticks just kind of, misses that.
Was the part where she's like falling off the broom for a very long time? Was that part of the dance?
No,
for a very long time. It's true.
Okay.
It was a very long time, I'll give you that.
It looked like it could have been part of a dance scene.
I agree, but no footage of Step in the Right Direction exists, only stills. So when you get to that part in the extended version, they just play stills of what was going on.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know the footage itself was not, it was it's lost, essentially. Lost archive.
Well, this song is the reason why we got the restoration, because some gentleman at Walt Disney, I'm trying to remember his name now. I wrote it down, so now I'm going to get it. It was Scott McQueen, the senior manager of Disney's library restoration, found the song, was confused by it, and then set out to restore the entire film to its original version before they cut it for the Radio City Music Hall premiere. Much to the happiness of the Sherman brothers, who I think part of the reason why they came back to Disney is because they did this.
Right.
They were a special feature on the DVD is them just being like, we're just so happy they're restoring this and bringing back all these great songs. And the other songs are pretty good. With a Flair, I think the film is worse off without it. David Tomlinson's opening number, it's very much Chim Chimney style.
Yeah.
Oh, it really doesn't matter what I do, as long as I do it with a flair. What effect a little smoke is with a dash of hocus pocus and the scent of burning sulfur in the air. I'm a fraud, a hoke, a charlatan, a joke, but they love me everywhere. For it really doesn't matter what I do, as long as I do it with a flair.
Then Eglantine, did I say that correctly?
Yeah, Eglantine.
That is much longer, and David Tomlinson is much goofier and does a lot of faces, and it's probably a little excessive, but I thought it's fun. I like it.
Let us strike a bargain. You possess a gift, but I can speak the jargon that will give your gift the needed lift. You possess the know-how, and I command the show-how. Oh, how successful you could be with me. Eglantine, oh, how you'll shine. Your lot and my lot have got to combine.
And of course, Portobello Road. remarkably long 10 minutes and 34 seconds. Don't need that. Cut it.
Portobello Road, street where the riches of ages are stowed. Anything and everything a chap can unload is sold off the barrow in Portobello Road.
You meet all your chums in the Portobello Road.
Yeah, no, that's...
You could cut the whole song. Honestly, that should have been one of the songs they cut.
But they paid so much for that set, Andrew.
Well, that's too bad, so sad.
And then
should have cut it before you made it.
And the final number that I think is very important, and that's Nobody's Problem, which Miss Price sings after Mr. Brown leaves.
No one to miss if he's gone too long. No one to comfort if things go wrong. That's how I want it to be. Nobody's problems for me. No one who needs me to ease his pain. No one to call me his ball and chain.
It's a very solemn song that Angela Lansbury sings so beautifully. It's basically like Who Needs Men, but
but in a sad way.
in a sad way. Like, it's ironic. It's very sweet, and she really nails it. I think the film would be a little better with this song as well as with a flare back in, because it gives them a little bit more to do.
So does that close the movie instead of the old home guard coming back?
No. This is like before he becomes a bunny and before the Nazis come. So it's like...
Okay, so that's when he was at the train station.
Yes. She sings it because she thinks he's just leaving her. And it really sums up, like, yeah, she had romantic feelings too, because it felt pretty one-sided for most of the movie, not gonna lie. Like, that kiss at the end, I'm like, I don't feel like this is earned.
Yeah, it does seem like he's kind of just into her, because she has magic powers.
But he's really into her.
So, Jess, can I ask one question about the extended?
Of course.
Cut? Do they have any more of a conclusive ending to this, like, the middle child has this plot where he doesn't believe anymore, or he's in the age of not believing?
Nope.
Okay, because, I was just thinking there's no real, like, closure to that plot line in any real way.
The only addition that he has in the extended version is he tries to extort Eglantine for money at one point to get the Bedknob away from the youngest boy.
Oh, so this is a second time he tries to exploit her for money.
Yes, instead of the first time where it's like, we know you're a witch.
Give me money.
Well, even then he was just like, give us decent food.
Honestly, though, yeah. What the heck? Feed the kids something that's good. Like, what the heck?
I mean, I don't know. She didn't ask for kids.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I think back at that time, they were probably eating, like, rations.
Yeah, that's fair. On that note, how about we move on to our favorite section of the show, where we compare our opinions to those of the kooky, crazy people over on Letterboxd.com. It's time for previews!
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
All right, Roses, you're up against Andrew, and we're going to read you real reviews from Letterboxd.com, and you have to tell us, just based on the review alone, whether it's a 1-star review or a 5-star review.
I did so badly at this last time. These are so deceptive.
They are. They really are.
You just have to guess the opposite of what you think the opposite of it is.
That's so hard, though, because you want to go with what your brain is telling you, but I will go with what my heart tells me this time.
Well, Bree, do you want to be on Andrew's team or Rose's team?
Rose's team.
Woohoo!
Alrighty, you guys are first.
Okay. What's that got to do with my knob?
I can see it.
My knob.
I can see the clap emojis. Just okay. Oh man. So I'm guessing first, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna say. Oh man. I'm gonna say that's a 5-star review.
That's a 5-star.
Woo!
It's a good guess. That was a good guess.
You can't clap that many times without feeling a little positive, right? No.
You have to feel passion, is what you have to feel.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, you ready?
I'm ready.
Mr. Banks snapped after getting fired from the bank. I mean, he kind of did, even in the context of that movie.
How are these reviews?
I'm going to say 5-star.
That is correct.
Even though
I'm in there.
the connotation is negative, it was still a good movie.
It is. I mean, he did snap. He became a like whining and dealing kind of guy on the streets. All right, Brie.
He's having a good time.
Yeah, he seems like a much more jovial person. It seems like the same character. Like, just the next step, he abandoned his wife and kids and went to Portobello Road.
Okay, ready, Rose?
Yep.
This movie says always punch Nazis.
That's gotta be. I'm gonna say 5-star.
That's a 5-star.
Yeah, it has to be.
Right?
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yes.
Without this, there would be no Wolfenstein.
Okay.
They have a point. Because this invented Nazis, which are the main bad guys.
It invented them. In fact, Adolf got his idea from Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, is that true? Jeez, I feel like it's wrong, but I gotta go with my gut and say this is another 5-star.
That is correct.
Woohoo!
Y'all killing it.
Yeah. Okay. My brothers love it and wanted me to watch it with them, LOL.
Lol. I'm gonna say 1-star.
That's a 1-star.
Yep.
3
All
for
right,
3.
Andrew. You ready?
I'm ready.
Why did they travel through the multiverse? Question mark, exclamation point, but in emojis.
This feels like a 1-star.
That is a 1-star, 3 for 3. This could be a tied game.
Oh my goodness, we're on a roll
The
here.
pressure, though.
Maybe I gotta do better at finding these.
Viewed in 1972, period. Surprised I saw this, period.
Oh, well, that was just a very matter-of-fact review.
Yeah.
Wow, that one's tough. I'm gonna say 1-star.
That's a 1-star.
Woo!
I watched this. I'm surprised I watched,
I watched this. How did that happen?
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
Is no one gonna talk about the blackface scene?
We've got you covered, friend.
Yeah, we got you.
We talked about it. Maybe he talked about it to death a little bit.
There's probably more that could be said, but I don't think that I want to go down that road.
Blackface
That,
bad. Like,
Portobello
what
Road.
other... Like, we're not gonna bring anything new to the conversation.
Yeesh. I mean, with that remark as your whole entire review, it's got to be 1, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope so. Otherwise, what?
All right, this is the last time around, guys.
Oh, no.
This film was my sexual awakening, ...
What part?
David Tomlinson.
I'm going to say that sounds positive to me. So I'm going to say 5.
That's a 5-star. You're 5 for 5.
Fire.
All right, Andrew. It's either a tie or you're losing. Are you ready?
I guess.
Mary
I'm in a
Poppins
lose-lose scenario
2.
here.
I'm sorry. Mary Poppins 2, The Bewitching. Just a spoonful of witchcraft helps the Third Reich go down.
You obviously love it if you write that, so 5.
That is correct, and you guys have tied this game!
We didn't get any of them wrong.
Yeah, I think
Jess
this is the
was
first
sliding
time.
on this one, I
I'm
think.
not gonna lie, this film did not have the most letterbox reviews in the world. And they
It
weren't
just goes to show this is not a very popular movie.
they weren't as chaotic as I'm used to.
You gave it your all, and your all was not even close to good enough. So
That's what's gonna be on my
some
obituary.
Some of them are a little tricky. Some of them a little tricky. But I think you either super love this movie or you don't care for it at all. So it's just it really is a 5-star versus 1-star thing.
Yeah,
Or
but
you've
even
never
the
heard of it.
1-stars are like fairly obvious 1-stars. Like, why blackface? And I'm like,
I would lose it if that was a 5-star. I would lose my mind.
that would have actually been a very funny one if it was a 5-star.
I will love every bit of this except for the blackface. the woke media agenda.
Yep.
On that note, speaking of woke media agenda, how about we go into a mid-show and talk about some of these songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at patreon.com. Over at Patreon, we got tons of fun tons of fun shit, including patron-only commentaries, our episodes a day early, in fact, probably like 3 or 4 days early, video episodes where you get to see our wonderful faces, and you'll get cut stuff, like I'm pretty sure you're going to get a whole conversation that will not end up in this entire episode on live. So you're getting a lot of cool stuff over there. As well, you can request what episodes that you want us to cover at a certain tier, as well as at a certain tier you can be on this show. You can be a guest. You could be like at the same level as Pushing Up Roses. What am I kidding? You'll never be at her level. On that note, our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maniri, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacey Koo, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Choquette, John Vanels, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Kyle Summers, Jen A.C., Scoot in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stellar, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thesbian, Ren Cullen, Raphael, Martinez Salaz, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Chris Marcotte, Mimu Kiji, Marie Anastasio, Layla, RJ Narija, Charlie B, Bjorn Hermans, Erica S, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Most Lopez, Liana Morton, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman69, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Sophiana Ali, The Omega Geek, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargle, Elisa Erdman, Anna Loskatova, Cheska Viray, Sarah Den Blakier, Evan Bell, Zachary Torres, Spencer Hellier, and Gathering Party before venturing forward. All right. Also, we have merch. Buy our merch. Our merch is pretty cool.
Merch up.
And
I think that's all we got.
Yeah, that's all we got. Let's get back to the show. Bree, you came back just in time.
Good timing. Impeccable.
I was here the whole time. I was just eating some spaghetti.
Piscetti?
Piscetti.
If you do that into the mic, and we could sell that for ASMR money.
I would recommend against it. ASMR is a dead movement.
Is it?
Is it a movement? I had no idea.
It's like a bowel movement.
Bowel movement ASMR. Does it exist?
Let's ask the old home guard.
I love them so much, though.
They're old.
I want to know their
I love
story.
these old men.
Like me and my partner talk about this like at length. He just saw. I introduced this movie to him for the first time approximately like a year ago, and he was obsessed with these old people. Like one of them has a pitchfork and a shovel, and it's like, what's their story? Like What's going on here? What are they like?
It's just
I love these old men.
It's a wild way to start a movie, to be honest.
It is.
It's
like the first song you get, and you don't get another song for like 25 minutes.
It feels like a lie a little bit. I guess it sets up a lot of things, and it's the same old man chorus that they had in the original like Disney films. It's the same chorus, just different on-screen actors.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the men, the voices of the Peter Pan Second Star to the Right and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Back when Disney, all of their songs were performed by old men.
Yeah, that was a weird choice that they stuck with a little too long.
At least it's like apt here.
Like every one of them, like someday my prince will. Like, is that what we're ending with?
Get the old man out here. Get the old man to sing the song.
If it does finally make sense here, at least.
Yes.
It's a little weird. Like finally.
I think the point is that this part of England can't defend itself because obviously it's just these old men. So that's why we need the witch to save everybody.
But what happens at the end? Another old man joins the ranks.
It's true. Yeah.
That's true.
And one of them has a pitchfork. Like, what does he think he's going to do?
Pitch him to death.
Stab him with the pitchfork. I mean, spears are effective weapons, so.
Oh, it's cute. You think he can throw it.
Oh, he can't throw it. He's going to run at him. I don't think he can run, though, so he's going to walk at him.
Quick question. Was there any actual swastikas in this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Were they wearing
in
them
the
on
opening
their
credits.
Oh, I think
The opening credits is like a bunch of them.
That's true because they're showing it in art, like in drawing form, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never saw a flag or anything like that, or even on their uniform. Like I tried, like they have all the
Yeah.
other things. They look like PewDiePie.
I think in the live action, I don't think they show it, but in
Yeah.
the opening, they definitely show it.
Okay.
Because I wonder if they were in Europe and there's laws against like flying swastikas in Europe at any point. For good reason, I'd say.
Sure.
And the only reason why I know that is because that ran into some legal issues when they brought the Producers musical to the UK.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that must have been hard.
Yeah, they had to figure out ways around that.
Yeah, I bet.
And I assume they filmed this on location. I don't think this was shot in like LA. Maybe they were, and they just really, really clever how they did it. But it looks like legitimate, like London.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to look that up later. It does not look like LA, and I don't think it looks
Yeah.
like a soundstage. I'm not sure.
Like I'm sure maybe they shot at Pinewood for the like when they're in under the sea. I don't think they actually went into the ocean to shoot that.
What?
Speaking of the not believing something, let's talk about the age of not believing, which is the Oscar-nominated song that is totally not Feed the Birds. Don't look at me.
I was just going to say that I'm like, yeah, it's Feed the Birds. It's that kind of song, at least.
When you rush around in hopeless circles, searching everywhere for something true, you're at the age of not believing when all the make-believe is through. When you set aside your childhood heroes and your dreams are lost upon a shelf, you're at the age of not believing, and worst of all, you doubt yourself.
And it's the flying bed theme because they just keep playing it over and over every time they fly on the bed.
Oh, yeah,
And so-
they do.
But they also play Step in the Right Direction anytime anything's happening, and that song's not even in the movie.
Oops.
Well, that's confusing.
Like sometimes just things are happening. So what I'm saying is the instrumentation doesn't really make sense.
I do like that song, though. I think it's one of the better songs. Interestingly, like last year, I was tweeting about it and tweeting about the music, and overwhelmingly, people responded with liking Portobello Road the best.
Ugh.
Probably not the 10-minute version though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's definitely the one with the blackface, though.
Oh, gee. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
'Cause
is.
I definitely think The Briny Sea is much better. I think Age of Not Believing is much more beautiful. Yeah, I never considered that one as like a favorite, but people are like, oh yeah, that one. That's a good one. I'm like, okay.
But I actually like this anecdote the Sherman Brothers told about writing that song, The Age of Not Believing, which was Walt died, they lost their like main leader, and basically they had to grow up and figure out life on their own and start believing in themselves.
Oh.
And that was their guide while writing this song. And I just think that's sweet. And it kind of changed my, like, because it does come as a shock because we hadn't really had a proper song up to that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hearing that context really does paint it differently for me.
Yeah. I've always
That is
liked
interesting.
It. Yeah, and I think it's already a wistful song. And I think you can attribute it to a lot of things like grief. I remember watching this movie again after my dad died, and it touched me. You know, it's like, okay, you know, you feel like you've lost a part of yourself, and then you have to believe in yourself again. So I think even if it does sound a lot like Feed the Birds, I still think it's a unique song in the movie. You know, that's just a little bit more meaning than the other songs, which are, I don't know, very whimsical.
Goof songs.
Yeah.
as we call them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking, I mean, it does also, it bothers me now that I know the context that their aunt died and they never knew their parents, when she's like, oh, you're just going to be 12, so you don't believe in things anymore. And it's more like,
No.
Everyone I loved is dead, witch lady. And you're going to have me believing in a bedknob right now?
I mean, maybe that's part of the reason they even cut it, because it's so jarring. What a
Yeah.
weird thing, you know?
Yeah, bomb fell on my aunt. She's gone.
Well, I'm not making you any fried food, so get over it.
Yeah.
Here, let's go to this guy's house. He has an unexploded bomb outside of it, so
Yeah, what the?
that'll be comforting for you,
what?
I'm sure.
Ridiculous.
Yes. Let's talk about Eglantine.
Eglantine, Eglantine, oh how you'll shine. Your lot and my lot have got to combine. Eglantine, Eglantine, heart to the stars. Destiny calls us, the future is ours. As the shine sells the boot and the blossoms the fruit, all you need to succeed in your plan is the proper ally upon whom to rely, and I'm your man.
Yes, that song is just very, very catchy to me. The name Eglantine is just unique and beautiful, and I can kind of see David Tomlinson just kind of bouncing around I think they were in a library at the time they were looking for the book. And I just love Angela Lansbury's. I love Eglantine's responses, which are just like, oh, really? Oh, I'm like, is this like practice for Murder, She Wrote? Because that's what J.B. Fletcher does too. Like, oh, really? It's just it's so fun and bouncy and cute, and it kind of like shows. I already forgot the character's name. What's David Tomlinson's name?
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, that's right. Oh, that's so weird. Mr. Banks, Mr. Brown. Okay.
Saving Mr. Brown.
Yeah, it just shows his kind of instant adoration of Eglantine, and it shows his like hopes and dreams like coming to fruition. Even though he has no confirmation from Eglantine, he's just so excited, just a little excitable puppy.
And I to his credit, Angela Lansbury's a babe in this movie a little bit.
Yes.
She's, you know what she gives me the vibe, and maybe it's just because I watched this recently, but when she throws on her glasses, she looks like Nicole Kidman in Eyes Wide Shut a little bit.
Oh! Wow.
So I'm just imagining her like telling David Tomlinson the dream she had about cucking him with a bunch of men.
No, she got that look, and she's a witch. So she was a sexy lady, Miss Angela Lansbury.
This Thanksgiving, kids, sit down with your parents, double feature Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Eyes Wide Shut, equally good time.
Totally comparable.
Get ready
Very
for
similar.
Christmas. Come on. Let's talk about Portobello Road.
Portobello Road, Portobello Road, street where the riches of ages are stowed. Anything and everything a chap can unload is sold off the barrow in Portobello Road. You'll find what you want in the Portobello Road.
Why blackface?
Why blackface? Is anybody going to talk about the blackface?
Yeah, there's some in it. As
There's
soon as
not
it
like
happened,
a lot to say.
I
on the
like
song.
I like the song. As an extra feature on the DVD, they have David Tomlinson's recording session of doing it, and he just looks very bored, and he just looks so bored that you can't believe that voice is coming out of him.
Oh no. I mean, that's kind of what I thought when I first I mean, keep in mind I saw this as a kid, and kids aren't really big into less energetic songs. Unfortunately, as an adult, I still think it's kind of lacking in energy, even though in the film David Tomlinson is he is kind of bouncing around. They're showing the kids getting into things, in the kiosks and stuff like that. So it's trying to like give it some energy. But in the end, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of boring, kind of a boring song.
Okay, I want to give you guys a quick comparison of lengths.
Oh,
the
boy.
one in the film, like the one that we all know, 3 minutes and 1 second.
Oh, it feels so much longer.
10 minutes, 30 seconds in the extended version. With a bagpipe people coming in, you have like every race and creed you can imagine shows up.
What are you doing with an extra 7 minutes of song?
They thought it was their step in time. Or you're going to be like,
Yeah,
oh, you're
but
not going to believe
step in
what's
time
coming
is-
next.
There's just a lot more going on in Step in Time than there is in this.
And there's more energy, and there's highly choreographed scenes in Step in Time. There's there's no energy in Portobello Road.
I cannot agree with you anymore. They tried.
They did their best. No, I'm glad that's cut because even watching it yesterday, I'm like, do I have to? I haven't done this in many years, but I felt like I had to fast forward it because it was a lot of the same. I get it. There's kiosks. You can find your treasures at Portobello. I get it.
I like that.
Great.
Like, a lot of this film is kind of wheel spinning to the next segment.
Yeah, that's true.
Where nothing really leads to anything. It's a circle.
True.
But the beautiful Bryony, wonderful scene, wonderful song, very, very catchy tune.
Bobbing along on the bottom of the beautiful briny sea. What if the octopus, the flounder, and the cod think we're rather odd? It's fun to promenade, bobbing along, singing a song on the bottom of the beautiful briny sea.
Very catchy, very just enigmatic as a little girl. Enigmatic? Is that the right word? Probably not. Effervescent is probably the better word I was looking for. Yeah, it's just very bubbly, very cute. I even though I can see the body doubles very clearly in this scene, as a kid, I did not. So as a kid, I'm just like fascinated by them dancing and like floating, and they're clearly on wires and stuff like that. But I'm like, wow, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
I mean, I love the like fish, like, what do you call them? Disco balls? The fishco balls?
Fishco balls! Aw!
Clever.
You can see the matte lines, you can see all those things. It's not quite as polished as Mary Poppins was. It doesn't have that Walt touch, but it's still so fun.
It is, and I like that
It's very
song.
silly how they swim around like.
The thing about this movie that almost bothers me a little bit. Mary Poppins and Bert feel like out of universe kind of characters that go into animated things and are able to dance around because it's just their normal. But these are just two random people that have never done this before that are like, oh, let's fuck around. Let's do these dances.
That's a really good point. Honestly, that's why I was like, why is Mr. Brown not more shocked? Because if it were me, I'd be like, what? We can go into animated water? I don't understand. But at least in Mary Poppins, there was a history there. Bert already knew that Mary Poppins could do this, and he was ready for it. Even Eglantine has never done. She's an apprentice witch. She's never done this.
So part of me, I thought I knew the plot of this before I watched it, because much like you, I watched the Disney sing-along, and I've seen clips, and I've heard about it. For some reason, I thought that David Tomlinson is the father of the three kids, and he met this witch, and then he brought them into their world together.
Oh.
And it's
You thought
reversed.
it was Mary Poppins.
A little bit, but it's that even that's different enough from Mary Poppins. It's just who owns the kids at this point. And for some reason, that still makes more sense to my brain than the way it works out in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought when I was a kid seeing it on We Sing tape, but if you see that with no context, yeah, they do. And they're dancing together. They do seem just like parents with their kids, and they're experiencing this magical setting.
Like, part of me it would be a more boring movie if David Tomlinson was our point of view character instead of Angela Lansbury. But narratively, like, it rings all those bells that we like in our brains.
Yeah.
And that being said, bells in our brains, stationary locomotion.
Substitutiary.
I'm so sorry. Stationary locomotion is
Stationary locomotion?
that's
That
a
doesn't make
train that
any
doesn't
sense.
move.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite. That's a different spell altogether. No, like
Substitutionary locomotion.
Treguna, Mekoides, Tracorum, Satis, substitutionary locomotion, mystic power that's far beyond the wildest notion. It's so weird, so feared, yet wonderful to see. Substitutionary locomotion, come to me.
that phrase is just so difficult to say. I've seen it a million times, so I do, like, I can just say it. But, like, imagine you're a kid. I think I can't even see that. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There we go. I think that's easier to say as a kid than substitutionary locomotion. Like, what are these words? So if that was their
Doesn't
nonsense
make
song,
sense.
it's so, I don't know. It just doesn't land with me, especially as a kid. I couldn't sing it.
Why is this spell in particular on some special star? And why is it printed in a comic book?
And why can they go
question.
into the comic book to make a line angry?
And then why can't they take the star out of the comic book?
Yeah, why can they go into the comic book and be totally fine and not like disintegrate like the object, but they can't bring stuff back? Like, what's the difference between these worlds where they can do it that way but not reverse?
It's not explained.
This only raises more questions, guys.
I should have known that they wouldn't let me bring the star back, though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, if you should have known that, then why did you do it?
Yeah, why'd you even bother?
I should have known that this plot had nowhere to go. Nazis are at the door. Oh no! What are we gonna
soccer
do?
game for no reason.
Oh, and he said the G slur switch. Yeah, amazing how many Disney films just threw slurs around. And why blackface?
Yeah, and why blackface? Yeah,
It was a different time. And by different, I mean worse.
It is
It was a
wild to
worse
me
time.
that Substitutionary Locomotion is the last song in the movie.
that's a good point, especially if they're kind of following this more successful format with Mary
Yeah.
Poppins. They put that in a good spot.
Oh yeah.
Because they allowed it to get very energetic, and then we'll take it down, and we'll end on a hopeful note. I mean, this ends on a pretty good note as well. But yeah,
They sing the
saved
old
it.
Home Guard again.
Oh yeah,
They bring
do.
it back.
Yeah, I mean, that's not...
That's not anything.
That doesn't even count as a song.
Like,
Nothing.
in the extended version, when Nobody's Problems ends it's still a little jarring, but I kind of like that better.
Yeah,
Because that kind of gives you a little bit of a reprieve before the end finale.
yeah.
Yeah. But where do you put another song? Because you can't put a song over the fight scene. Not, at
Or
least I don't
can
think
you?
could.
After all, that's a kick in the right direction.
He made the joke.
Before we wrap this on up, I do want to talk about the most recent UK production of this show, which is brand new Disney musical that is interesting. I just want to show a trailer for it and get your guys' reaction to it. Have you seen this at all, Roses?
No, I did read about it, so I know that
right.
there was one running, but I don't know anything about it.
Let's take a look at this.
Ooh.
The Evacuation Committee thanks you, Mrs. Mason, for keeping children safe from those dreadful bombs in London.
What about those three?
I've already assigned them someone.
Who?
Eglantine Price.
I have arrived.
You must face the age of not believing, doubting everything you ever knew.
Blimey! She's actually a witch!
After all, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction. After all, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction. After all.
Welcome to the beautiful Briny Ballroom.
Moving along, singing a song. On the bottom of the hills will rise.
Shimmery shining.
Hills will rise.
I think it's going to be better than the movie.
I am intrigued. I kind of like how some of those things looked. I am a little perplexed at Eglantine just kind of storming into the orphanage and being like, I'm here. I'm like, that's a little off-brand.
It's also, they really amped up her resemblance to Mary Poppins.
Yeah, they did. That's not what she was wearing at all.
Like, they didn't lean into the witchiness of it. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like they just wanted another Mary Poppins, and they're like, well, anything that's like Mary Poppins, make it more like it.
But I'm like hopeful
Well,
for
Mary
the
Poppins
musical
2 was such a
segments.
smash hit.
It was, though. Like, I know you said that ironically, it was. And everyone else in the world liked that movie except for me, apparently.
I thought it was pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
I thought it was bad and offensive to my taste and sensibilities.
Offensive, yeah.
Emotionally offensive, not even
You just cancel anybody, won't you?
Canceled.
You're canceled, Rob Marshall, for Mary Poppins Returns. On that note, what about Eglantine Price Returns? When's that coming out, Disney?
Yeah, right. For real. Come on. She's a great character. Let's take advantage of that.
Oh, was that
the
Eglantine?
sequel's going to be so boring.
Was Eglantine Price the Mary Poppins that shows up at the end of Mary Poppins Returns? Because that was Angela Lansbury.
Yes, it was. I'm going to go with that. It's canon now. You can't prove it. You can't prove that it wasn't.
It was obvious that was supposed to be like Julie Andrews, and she's like, no. So I was like, Angela Lansbury, you were kind of Mary Poppins, right?
A little bit.
Honestly, maybe it was a bit of a reference to this.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good choice. I loved seeing her at the end. I love seeing Angela Lansbury anywhere.
That movie left me feeling a lot of nothing until that moment, and that song specifically gave me the feels. So yeah.
I did like that movie, but don't look at me. I have questionable taste.
What are you talking about? You're on the show.
Questionable taste.
Just look at my channel. I have very questionable taste.
Oh, I doubt that. But on that note, what is our overall thoughts on Bedknobs and Broomsticks and our cheese rating? Andrew, why don't you start us off?
Sure. I enjoyed it. I feel like it was a bit long in certain places, and I know I watched the shorter version, and I'm grateful for that. But can we get a even shorter version? I feel like it maybe deserves it. It's good, but there's some stuff that holds it back. But the characters, like the main characters, like carry, like the actors carry the whole thing, like hard. So it's still good and fun to watch. Cheese rating, cheese. You got to give it like a British cheese, right?
Yes, go on.
Let's see. How about what was it?
I believe in you.
I've given Wensleydale a bunch, so I'm not giving that again. How about Cotswold? That sounds funny. It sounds like something a witch would throw into
That's a deleted song for this movie, for all we know.
Basically.
Can't prove it. It's just not uncovered yet.
Yeah, the Sherman brothers are dead. They can't prove me wrong.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, we're gonna give it that.
All right, Roses, how about you?
I really like this movie a lot. I do agree that the actors carry it. And the story does get very muddled because just certain segments go on for way too long. It doesn't have as memorable music as some of the other movies. But in general, I do think it is a little underwatched. I wouldn't say it's underrated. I think people who see it give it good ratings. But I do think it's a little underviewed. For my cheese rating, I'm going to give it Swiss cheese because it does have a lot of holes. That doesn't mean that it's not good.
I love that. It's a great rating. 10 out of 10.
No notes.
Brie, what do you think of our discussion, your cheese rating of that?
Amazing discussion, as always. I always love, a good conversation about a witch. I am going to give this a Baby Bell cheese, a little BB for Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, look at that. Really good alliteration there.
Fantastic alliteration, but I do have to ask, what's that got to do with my knob?
Not much.
We all want to know.
Jess, you gotta keep it in your pants here, bud.
With me knob. The thing is, he didn't say my, he said me. What's it got to do with me knob?
Oh my god.
So I'm between two cheese ratings here. So I'm going to just say that I liked it a lot. I appreciated the kind of hole I dug myself into with the information I got. I really liked learning about this film and hearing about all the wild stuff that came with it. I really, sincerely, it was a good research experience for me. I enjoyed watching both versions of the film, and they were very different vibes to me. I did run a Twitter poll to see which version people preferred, and most people said they preferred the 140 minutes version, which is baffling to me.
Okay. Sure, Jan.
It was 70% to 29%.
Oh, wow.
So
they were like, more movie to love.
That was honestly a response was, hey, it's more Angela Lansbury. I'm into it. which I get. Yeah, if you're a Lansbury
But
fan, you want the
is it,
Cransberry.
though? It's more blackface.
Yes. So I'm between two cheese ratings, and I'm gonna put it up to vote which one it should be. I could do Angela Lansbury's little known cheesecake recipe, because she was very known for her cheesecake, or this video from Chuck E. Cheese where they all performed the locomotion.
I remember that. I've seen this.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. I know you'll get to like it if you give it a chance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. My little baby sister can do it with ease. It's easier than learning your ABCs. So come on, do the locomotion with me.
Good lord.
This is the saddest birthday party on the planet.
Is Chuck E. Cheese a mouse or a rat?
He's a... Wait, I have to see his tail. Wait, where's his tail?
You don't got
Where's
his
his
tail.
tail?
He doesn't have a tail.
I think he's a mouse.
I think he's a rat.
I always thought he was a rat, but now I'm getting
I have
conflicting
no
messages.
idea. He's an abomination. I mean, really, he's not anything.
His middle name's Entertainment, and I don't trust that.
Yeah, I don't think he's anything.
He was originally a rat, and they changed him to be a mouse.
That's
Wait,
what
so
I
he
thought.
was a rat, and then they changed him into a mouse?
Yeah.
Unreal.
So from
Unreal.
1977 to 92, he was a rat, and then changing to a mouse in 1993.
Yeah.
What?
Because, you know,
We gotta
rats
respect
are weird.
their choices.
He was a rat for 20 years, and then he turned into a mouse.
Hey, they decided that they felt more in a mouse's body, so I feel like it's...
Jess, I don't think you can change species, okay? Like, I don't think this is a...
that is something
this is-
phobic.
this
I'm
is
not
way
quite
too-
sure, but
way
it's
too woke.
definitely gonna get you canceled on Twitter.
Canceled.
I just expect you to respect his pro-mouse.
Mice don't even get different pronouns.
But again, this is not really a mouse. He's an abomination. He's a humanoid being from the abyss. Like, who even knows?
Poggers! And on that note, roses. For anyone that might not know where you are, please promote your wonderful, wonderful stuff and where they can find you on the socials.
Okay, well, if you Google my name, Pushing Up Roses, you'll come up with a few things. You'll come up with my YouTube channel, where you can watch me talk about Angela Lansbury, Murder, She Wrote, children's horror, and video games every now and then. Or you can buy a piece of art from me, which is on my Etsy shop. There it is. Jesse has a piece at dysmorphicart.com, or not .com, .etsy. Whatever. If you look for my name, it'll come up. Don't go too far down. You'll find some questionable stuff. So just stay at the top of that Google search. Thank you.
It's nudes of Charles Entertainment Cheese.
That I posted. I regrets. I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean, it was before they came out as a mouse.
Look, all YouTubers have regrets and bad moments, okay?
You were so lovely, as always, as a guest.
Thank you.
And you are actually one of the few guests I've actually hung out with in person, and that is a very rare feat. I think there's only 4 or 5 that I've done that with, so...
It feels very special.
You're in an elusive group here, Pushing Up Roses.
Thank you.
You know who else is in a very elusive group, Andrew?
Well, if I had to guess, it'd be witches.
No, the answer is our wonderful patrons, you idiot. Oh, thank you guys for listening.
Oh, I can never get that.
Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon Musicals with Cheese, Instagram Musicals with Cheese, YouTube page Musicals with Cheese. We have a patron-only podcast called Patreon with Cheese, and we're going to be covering some fun stuff coming up. They've got a Will Ferrell musical that I have no interest in showing Andrew, so we're going to cover it there. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio, and here's some ASMR for you, Juliet, as a little gift. That's Brie eating sketty. I don't know how to do ASMR. Don't you just make noises into a microphone?
You go really close to the mic, and you kind of just whisper into it like this.
That's not a whisper. You're still making your vocal cords move.
I mean, you can talk quietly. You can talk very quietly. Like
This is for you,
Talk
Juliet.
very quietly.
talk very quietly.
Yeah.
I just want to make an ASMR video where like halfway through it, like there's like a really, really loud noise.
Oh, you will get canceled for that.
I'm so sorry, but it was kind of funny. We love you, Juliet. This show is produced by the beautiful, the incredible, one of my best friends in the entire world, Brianna Jones. Bri, I love you so much. Our theme songs were created by Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Please commission them. They are wonderful, and listen to these theme songs. They're great. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and not kicking us off for Andrew being mouse-phobic.
Bruh.
Roses, Bri, Andrew, anything else we got left to say?
Sorry, I blanked out. I was just like, I have to say something important here. And then nothing.
I gotta go fly on my broomstick, so I'll see you guys.
To satisfy a hitch? All right, we'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. After all, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction's what it is.